Good evening, it's time for the news right here on Times Television, TTV, and you're with me, Ronald Mpaso. First, the headlines. Malawi Local Government Association says the national budget has failed to bail out local councils that are grappling with huge debts. 10 out of 13 suspects in the torching of UTM officers plead not guilty, and Simon Vua Kaunda has appealed against the nullification of his Gadabe Central parliamentary seat to the African Court on Human and People's Rights. We have these and many other stories. Stay with us. In our first story, the Malawi Local Government Association has scowled at the 1.9 trillion kwacha 9-month 2021-2022 national budget presented by Minister of Finance Felix Mlusu in Parliament on Friday, which among others overlooked the plea to Treasury to bail out councils with 14 billion kwacha. In an interview today, Malawi Local Government Association Acting Executive Director Hadrod Mkandavire said the local government has once again lost out on the budget in terms of the minimum financial requirements for the local government to effectively deliver development outcomes and meet the wide expectations of citizens. Mkandavire explains.
Currently, the local governments have got a huge debt to pay out to the service providers. This debt has arrived because as a result of the central government failing to match responsibilities devolved to the local governments and the financial transfers. So you'd find out that the central government would assign the local councils to be responsible for chiefs, but there's no a corresponding budget. You'd find out that the sectors or the ministries are devolved to the local governments, but there are no matched finances. And in the quest to sustain the operations of these sectors and to sustain the operations of the devolved responsibilities, such as the chief's administration, the local governments, they incur debts, in addition to the debts that are incurred in the district hospitals.
And the senior resident magistrate court in Mzuzu has found former Democratic Progressive Party regional governor Reverend Christopher Mzomera Ngwira with no case to answer in a case where he was accused of disrupting a rally by Malawi Congress Party President Lazarus Chakwera. Ngwira has been acquitted together with DPP Director of Operations John Nyirongo, Rumbani Muntali and Ngwire Kaira. From Zuzu, Sam Kalimira has a report.
The four were charged with 6 accounts: acts causing grievances, harm, malicious damage, proposed violence, and indecent assault, among others. However, the court has said the 3 others, George Mantowe, Tembi Ngosi, and Fizwell Zimba, have a case to answer. Senior resident magistrate Peter Kandulu said the state failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt to connect the 4 acquitted with the violence that happened in Chiwadhi in Mzuzu City. Reading his ruling that lasted about 1 hour 20 minutes in a fully packed court, Kandulu said, for instance, one of the witnesses, Halim Kandavire, failed to provide a text message which alleged that Ngwira warned him not to attend the rally. The magistrate also said the state failed to prove that the 4 are connected to the smashing of Malawi Congress Party vehicle and dressing of People's Party women and hacking of Chakwera's bodyguard Sten Majamanda. However, the court took a twist by ordering the arrest of Frank Kashororo, saying has a case to answer in relation to the disruption of the rally. Ngwira's lawyer, Kriston Irambi, said the ruling means Ngwira is free on all the 6 charges that were leveled against him.
The state did not connect them to the offense, that they physically took an act like hacking and the others and dressing people and like. Like, for example, Mzomera was not even there, save for the message, which they say a message was sent.
The state was not available for comment, but Northern Region Police Deputy Public Relations Officer Saulos Chakwera said they will respect the court ruling, adding the case continues as others have a case to answer.
Juncture, we cannot say much, but what we can say, we will respect the law of law, much as we know that some have been found with a case to answer.
Ngwira looked firm throughout the reading of the ruling, and his wife Martha, together with family members, celebrated outside the court. No any DPP senior member was seen at the court. Ngwira has however been taken to Mzimba prison, where he is still serving a 4-year jail term after he was found guilty of mismanaging local development funds.
10 out of the 13 suspects in the torching of UTM officers in Lilongwe in May last year that led to the death of 3 people of the same family have pleaded not guilty. The suspects appeared before the High Court High Court Judge Annabel Mtalimanja in Lilongwe today to answer charges of murder, attempted murder, arson and conspiracy to commit a felony. Matthews Kasanda has the details.
The charges are connected to the death of Ajusa Tambala, his wife Alice Tambala and the son Shukrani Tambala. On attempted murder, they are being accused of attempts to murder Ahmad Tambala, who sustained injuries in the inferno. The court has since adjourned the matter to 19 July this year for trial, when the state will parade 12 witnesses. The state further told the court that it would make additional submissions from mobile phone service providers, TNM and Airtel. Meanwhile, the judge has issued a warrant of arrest for Kasim Hassan, Mpeya Peter Makin and George Manganda, who are at large. The bail for the 3 has been revoked. Lawyer Oscar Taulo, who was discharged from representing Manganda after he made an application to the court, said sureties for the 3 suspects were also unable to reach out to them.
Unfortunately, they did not show up on 24th, but their surety came. And also the surety explained to the court that they were unable to also locate where the accused person are. And as such, the court proceeded to revoke their bail and subsequently has issued a warrant. Today they have issued a warrant that all those people should be arrested.
The High Court granted bail to the suspects on August 26 last year, after they had spent about a month in custody.
The battle for Nkarabe Central Constituency Parliamentary seat continues as Simon Vua Kaunda, who until recently was holding the seat, has gone to the African Court on Human and People's Rights in Tanzania, seeking a review of the Supreme Court of Appeals judgment. The judgment nullified his position as Member of Parliament and ordered by-elections whose preparations are underway. Feston Malikezo has a report.
Speaking at a rally in preparation for the June 29 by-elections, Vua Kaunda maintains that he won the 2019 parliamentary elections. According to Vua Kaunda, the state has 14 days to respond to the summons. According to the Arusha court document, the application was filed by Vua Kaunda and 5 other people on May 5, 2021. Attorney General Chikosa Silungwe says they are still reviewing the law for them to ably respond. Silungwe then clarified that it is not 14 days as being peddled by Vua Kaunda. On his part, MEC Director of Media and Public Relations Sangwani Mafrirwa said preparations for the by-elections are going on as planned, as they are yet to be served with the summons. Commenting on the development, Dean of the Faculty of Law at Catholic University John Gift Mwakwawa said the Supreme Court in Malawi is the final court whose judgment cannot be overturned. Initially, the case was commenced by Vua Kaunda's rival Raf Mhone of People's Party in the High Court, who contested that the 2019 parliamentary elections had irregularities. Mhone lost the case and appealed to the Supreme Court of Appeal, which nullified the 2019 parliamentary elections.
Medical Council of Malawi has warned that it will close all uncertified hospitals and other health facilities in the country. The council's registrar, Richard Ndovi, says they are inspecting both private and government hospitals to make sure that they abide by the set standards of operation. Wezi Gausi has a report.
The inspection is the only way that the council can unearth clinics that are not abiding by the regulations. And it is through this process that some clinics risk their licenses being revoked if found them in the wrong. Ndovi says they have received information on some clinics that are operating illegally.
Sometimes we advise them to improve on the weaknesses within a month or 2 weeks. And once they are not complying, then we close the facility. The other penalty is we just close completely to say no, the clinic is a threat and is a harm to the patients. As such, they cannot continue offering the services. So that's how we deal with those clinics.
Executive Director for Malawi Health Equity Network, Mehin George Jobe, asked the council to be professional when conducting the exercise. He says it was high time the council focused on qualifications of medical personnel and prescriptions that they give to patients.
We believe also they will be looking into qualifications of people working at such facilities as well, and the prescriptions that they make. But we commend the move because it will save Americans, considering that we have some of such structures that are substandard.
Meanwhile, the Medical Council of Malawi said they have already inspected hospitals that are treating COVID-19 patients.
You're watching the news on Times Television, TTV. We now take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Band tastes like mama's love.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Tikolole kungonjezera mayunitsi ati TNM kuyambira 200 kwacha kapena kuposera pamenepo mutha kukhala mmodzi mwa mamilioneya mu TNM Tikolole promotion. Koma mukaonjezera mayunitsi ndi 100 kwacha kapena kuposerapo mudzilandira mabonus oyimbira foni, SMS kapena data pompo.
TNM, always with you.
Welcome back. 9 months after President Lazarus Chakwera announced the introduction of special awards for health workers in the wake of the COVID pandemic, no health worker has been recognized. Some health workers have since complained that the development is a demotivating factor. Feston Malekezo has a report.
President Lazarus Chakwera said 5 health workers nominated by various medical associations will be receiving the award every 3 months for their dedication to work. At that time, Chakwera described the health workers as champions who are sacrificing their lives against many odds, including depressing working conditions, depleted medical supplies, and deteriorating health facilities. But in an interview on Monday, Saulos Chilima, chairperson for the Human Resource for Health Coalition, said they compiled names from all cadres and presented them to the State House.
But up to now, nothing is coming forth. I wouldn't put it that it was a political statement by the head of state. But maybe he's busy and is still thinking about it, but it is taking so long for him to think and conclude about it.
Equally, President of Society of Medical Doctors in Malawi, Dr. Victor Miti, says the delay is demotivating.
Well, it is demotivating to the healthcare workers, especially when the president has said that there will be such a thing, and I think it was said that it will be happening almost like quarterly, but now I think it's overdue and nothing has happened. So it comes in as demotivation. At the same time, it creates a sense that there is no seriousness from the president.
In an interview, State House Press Secretary Brian Banda said the award ceremony has been put on hold due to COVID-19. He said the event is being planned in the coming weeks if current low positivity levels of COVID-19 would continue. This also comes at a time when the government has reduced budgetary allocation for the health sector. In the 2021-2022 budget, government has allocated to the health sector 187.2 billion kwacha, a reduction from 204.7 billion kwacha.
The Ministry of Education has emphasized on the need to develop policies that are responsive and conducive to teachers in the improvement of the education sector in the country. This was revealed during the opening of a 4-day 2021 National Teachers Conference in Lilongwe today. Blessings Mpinganjira has a report.
The conference aims at unearthing challenges teachers are facing and ways of improving the education sector. Ministry of Education Director of Administration James Manyitera said the conference will shape policies and direction that would contribute in achieving quality and inclusive education by the year 2030.
The Ministry of Education exists to deliver education to the country. You have classroom blocks, you have learning materials, you have teaching materials, but without a teacher, that delivery will not be there. So the ministry values so much a teacher that they have invited them to this meeting so that they discuss policy issues pertaining to their working environment and how they can deliver quality education to the country.
UNICEF Chief of Education and Adolescents Simon Jani Morendijik said there is a need to improve teachers' working conditions by motivating and professionalizing the teaching force. One of the participants, Chifuniro Kamwendo, a teacher from Blantyre Secondary School, described the conference as a platform to discuss challenges faced and opportunities discovered during the COVID-19 period.
The first thing is because the whole thing about the conference is a development of a teacher policy. So I know that at the end of the day, we'll be able to discuss issues that will be put in the policy. And since we are the teachers, we are the people on the ground, which are concerned with the policy, will be able to put in things that are beneficial.
This year's conference attracted 600 teachers, including government officials and development partners.
The empowerment of young mothers has been underscored as the best tool to end challenges that they face on a daily basis. This was said over the weekend in Blantyre when young mothers were graduating from a tailoring training organized by a local non-government organization called Nkhani. More in this report by Justin Mkweu.
The co-founder of Nkhani, Modesta Mangilani, said they saw a need to empower young mothers who by then were doing nothing. She said after the training, the organization expects the young mothers to turn tailoring into a business and be independent.
What I expect is for them to actually put the skills to use, because we teach them entrepreneurs. Also, we're hoping that they can really run sustainable businesses and not just say, okay, we've learned how to do this. They're getting the machines as a startup capital for their business. We're hopeful that they will be able to then put these skills to use and they're really able to make money and really stand on their own, and they're not left in a destitute state that they were at the beginning.
One of the graduates, Emile Sukari, who was also a best performer, said this will help her to make her own money and support her family. The facilitator of the training at the Young Mothers Center in Ndirandi, Blantyre, Stella Malua, expressed hope that the young mothers' independence will protect them from abuses.
It's very important to empower young moms, because when you empower them, they are able to get their own finances through the works they are doing. So they can get their own finances. They can assist their children financially. They can be able to do anything at any time because they are financially assisted.
The graduates were given sewing machines and other sewing materials.
Football Association of Malawi, FAM, and FDH Bank have officially launched the 2021 FDH Bank Cup national competition at Balaka Stadium. The Cup is hosting 62 Premier League and Regional Premier Division League teams from all regions of the country. Speaking during the launch, Head of Personal and Business Banking at FDH Bank, Kawawan Sapato, said the competition will impact grassroots soccer advancement. We have this report by Llewellyn Mpasa, but read in the studios by Isaac Salima.
Football Association of Malawi and FDH Bank on Sunday officially launched the 2021 FDH Bank Cup national competition at Balaka Stadium. Speaking at the launch, Head of Personal and Business Banking at FDH, Kawawan Sapato, said they have premised the formation of the competition as one that will have more teams to impact on grassroots soccer advancement. So you can see that what we're trying to do is to impact on grassroots soccer, not just mainstream leagues that are there, but like today we're seeing Chinamali playing Wanderers Reserve. I think we are excited to see that we'll be able to impact the teams that are at this level, and this will help us to develop talent that going forward probably we can get talent that can also fit into the national team. Football Association of Malawi Vice President and Head of Competitions Jaba Alide said they are prepared to ensure that aggressors that occur at football matches are prevented.
Most of the things dealing with the violence in the stadium, whatever, they go forward back to preparations. And we have hand in heart assured ourselves that we will have to be prepared for each and every game. In this competition, there's no small game, as you have seen today, the level of competitiveness. So we shall prepare for each and every game seriously to make sure that any instance of violence, as we have highlighted, do not occur, because it not only destroys the image of the game, but it also destroys the image of us football administrators and football in general.
FDH Bank is also the sponsor of Malawi national football team, the Flames.
That's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines again. Malawi Local Government Association says the national budget has failed to bail out local councils that are grappling with huge debts. 10 out of the 13 suspects in the torching of UTM officers have pleaded not guilty, and Medical Council of Malawi threatens to close uncertified hospitals. You've been with me, Ronald Mpaso, but you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Stay safe and have a lovely night.
evening. It's time for the weather report, and you're with me, Gary Samati. Expect cool to cold conditions with clear skies tonight and in the morning, while warm and sunny conditions are expected in the afternoon. In Shire Valley, expect clear skies and cool conditions tonight and in the morning. Expect hot and sunny conditions to prevail during the afternoon. In Southern Highlands, expect cold conditions with clear skies and a few patches of fog over a few areas tonight and in the morning. Expect sunny conditions and warm conditions